That was a pretty cool quest line. I like that one a lot. Welcome to Nepheli's questline. This questline is a lot of fun, and you can do it reasonably early throughout the game until you get to the very end of the quest, in which case you do need to kill Margot to continue on. But with that being said, let's get into it. We are going to start right here in Stormveil Castle, where you're going to find Nepheli in a side room right before you fight Godrick the Grafted. You're going to sit here and talk through all of her dialogue until she starts to repeat herself, and then that will signify that you can move on to the next part of the quest. The next part of the quest, which though is not necessary, I always do it, you can summon her to help you fight Godrick the Grafted. She does make the boss fight a lot easier, and it's always nice to just have a summon in your pocket. The next location you are going to find Nepheli is going to be in Roundtable Hold. After you've destroyed Godrick, you're going to find her sitting right outside of Gideon's room next to some bookshelves, and you're going to talk through her dialogue. She's going to thank you, and then you are going to get the Arsenal Charm. Equipping this charm is going to allow you to raise your maximum equipment load, allowing you to carry heavier weapons and heavier gear. As you continue through the game and venture into Liurnia of the Lakes, you are going to find the village of the Albinaurics. Right before that village, you are going to find Nepheli crouched down amongst a crowded floor full of bodies. You're going to talk to her, exhaust her dialogue, make sure she starts to repeat herself, and then you will find her again in Roundtable Hold. However, before you leave the village of the Albinaurics, you are going to need to kill the Omen Killer, as this could be a potential part of Nepheli's questline. Once you kill the Omen Killer, then you can go back to Roundtable Hold and continue her questline. When you get back to Roundtable Hold, you're going to run through the hold and go down the stairs right by the blacksmith. You will then find Nepheli crouched down on the ground, inconsolable and full of despair. Talk through her dialogue, and when she starts to repeat herself, head back upstairs. Now, the trail may seem a little bit cold at this point because Nepheli will not come out of this state until you go upstairs and talk to Gideon. You have to talk to Gideon, go through all of his dialogue, and then ask about Nepheli. Once you ask about Nepheli, Gideon will then start to explain some of her backstory and why he doesn't need her anymore. You're then going to be able to go back and talk to Nepheli and continue her questline with new dialogue. At this point, I just want to take a second and say, if you are on Celavis's questline as well, and he's giving you the potion to give to Nepheli, do not give it to her if you want to complete Nepheli's questline. If you give it to her, you will not be able to complete the questline, and you will not be able to get the rewards at the end, and you will then be on Celavis's quest. So, with that being said, let's get back into it. From Roundtable Hold, you're going to then head to the northwest of Liurnia of the Lakes to the Four Belfries. Now, there will be an imbued stone sword key on the very first tower that you can grab. Grab that stone sword key, go over to the most east tower, which is then going to teleport you to where you need to go. This is going to be the very first area that you ever were in the game. The reason being is you are supposed to grab 2 ashes in this location, one of which you will use for the questline, and the other will give you the Stormhawk ashes, which you can use on your own. Arriving back in Roundtable Hold on the next part of our questline, we then have to traverse back down the stairs and find Nepheli still sitting right where we left her. Now, you are going to have to go through all of her dialogue, and there should be an option for you to give her these Stormhawk ashes. Once you give her the Stormhawk ashes, that signifies that the next part of the quest is started. You can then exhaust all of her dialogue, and eventually you will get the option to give her the Stormhawk King ashes that you just picked up. Once you give her these ashes, she is going to thank you for them, exhaust all of her dialogue, and then you can move on to the next part of the quest. At this point, you are actually going to leave Nepheli behind. Now, we are going to go enlist in the service of Kenith Height. If you don't know who this person is, he is one of the very first NPCs that you are going to come across in Limgrave, and he's going to ask you to take back his fort from all of the people that are there. In the clip that you're already watching, I've already taken back the fort for him, and I'm now coming back and I'm talking to him again, which is why you can see that he awards me his Erd Steel Dagger. The next thing you're going to have to do after you get the dagger and exhaust his dialogue is then head back to Fort Height, where he has promised to bring you into his service, and you're going to have another conversation with him there in the next part of the questline. Once you've returned to Fort Height and retaken it from the demi-humans that are infesting it, you are going to find Kenith on top of the keep waiting for you, exhaust all of his dialogue in the conversation, and then you'll be able to move on to the next part of the questline. Now, for this part of the questline, in order to proceed farther, you have to have killed Margot in the capital. If you haven't done that, this part is not going to work for you. I spent way too long trying to figure that out, so make sure you do that before you come back and go to this next part of the questline. But you need to go to Godrick the Grafted's Grace in Stormveil Castle, and you have to rest there. That is key. If you do not rest, the area will not load. Once you reload the area, run back up these steps, and on the throne will be Nepheli, the new ruler of Limgrave. You're also going to find Kenith there as well. You can exhaust both of their dialogue. Nepheli is going to give you an ancient dragon smithing stone for all of your help, and there is somebody else here who is supposed to be here who isn't in my playthrough because I decided to kill him right off the bat. That person is Gatekeeper Gastok, and I really wish that I had not killed him, because if you keep him alive, he will be here in the throne room as well, and you can buy a second ancient dragon smithing stone from him for 20,000 runes. So you get 2 dragon stones in this area for completing this quest. However, because I have not done it, I only get the one from Nepheli. And guys, that is going to be all for the video. I really hope you guys appreciated it. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can know when I'm making new Elden Ring content. I make new build videos and Elden Ring content every single Monday, so stay on the lookout for that. I appreciate the heck out of you guys. And until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.